Hello and welcome to UAS Magazine's panel preview podcast series. I'm your host, Dayna Bastian. The UAS Summit Expo is coming up October 4th through the 5th in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I am excited to bring on our special guest, Shawn Bullard, CEO of Duetto Group. Shawn is an internationally recognized policy developer, idea integrator, and coalition builder who has pioneered the way for disruptive technology, policy, procedure, and regulatory milestones. He has been an active part of the UAS industry in North Dakota for over 12 years and is no stranger to the UAS Summit and Expo stage. Welcome, Shawn. Thank you for joining us.
Dayna, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. We're really excited to have you back here in October for the UAS Summit and Expo. Shawn, you are moderating a panel on October 4th at the summit titled UAS Associated Elements, Why So Important, with the following panelists: Marchionna, Director of Technology and Innovation at Electra; Voss, former Director of Air Navigation Bureau, ICAO, and former President and CEO of the Flight Safety Foundation; and Jeremy Bennington, Co-Chair of the ASTM BVLOS Navigation Standards Committee. Can you share with our listeners a bit about the panelists' background and how they fit in to discuss UAS Associated Elements and why they are so important?
Yes, most certainly. You know, we have a top tier team of experts in aviation, safety, and autonomous systems. And I'll embellish just a little bit on their backgrounds. You know, I'll be joined, as you said, by Voss, the former Director of Air Navigation Bureau at ICAO and the former President and CEO at the Flight Safety Foundation. Bill is a former senior executive at FAA. He's a former commercial airline pilot, as well as an air traffic controller. And Bill is now a full-time consultant for many of the top UAS industry partners around the world. If Bill doesn't know the answer to a question during our panel discussion, he's only one person removed from the person that does. Marchionna is the Director of Technology and Innovation at Electra. Electra is building really a unique electric short takeoff and landing aircraft, or eSTOL, that Ben hopes to get certified in the not so distant future. And then last but not least, we have Jeremy Bennington. Jeremy is co-chair of ASTM's BVLOS Navigation Standards Committee. He's also the vice president of Position, Navigation, and Time Assurance at Spirent. Spirent, which has been around for a long time, decades, has deployed a GPS forecasting and prediction solution to improve GPS performance and to enhance UAS safety.
Well, it sounds like that is a really great panel of some big flyers in the industry. We're really excited to have them join us on the stage. So, Shawn, can you give our listeners also a little bit of insight into maybe some of the questions and some of the topics you'll be discussing on this stage? Give them a little sneak peek.
Sure. Most certainly. This panel is going to explore how the NAS may look in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 25 years. And autonomous systems integration into the NAS is really dependent upon a clear pathway that emphasizes not only the importance of aircraft certification, but also the importance of unmanned aircraft systems associated elements certification. And during this discussion, participants will explore why the future growth of autonomous UAS in the NAS is equally dependent upon those yet to be defined trusted associated element systems, as well as, of course, the aircraft. But the discussion is going to steer into whether the alignment of ATM and U-Space and UTM and everything else that you hear about every day should be federated or integrated. And we're going to explore how the FAA, the UAS industry, and the FAA designated test sites are working in partnership to evaluate the safety of UAS, develop a system to measure safety of those associated elements, ground and air systems necessary to mature and build trust in preparation for the FAA certification of UAS aircraft and those supporting systems in FAA's certification process.
Yeah, and it's been really exciting to see how the UAS industry has really grown in the last few years. And for those of our listeners, Shawn, who aren't as involved in the UAS industry or just getting into the industry, can you maybe share what those UAS Associated Elements are that you'll be discussing?
Yes, that's a great question because both the air, and this is really a key point, both aircraft and those associated support systems need certification eventually. But exactly how that might look or how it's going to look has yet to be defined by the FAA. That is a really key point to keep in mind as we go down this road. The federal government is committed, and the FAA is committed to working hand in hand with the FAA designated UAS test sites like North Dakota's and others such as the FAA's UAS Center of Excellence, known as ASSURE, or the Alliance for System Safety of UAS through Research Excellence, to conduct UAS research, including the evaluation of the safety of UAS associated elements, and to establish a system of measuring UAS associated elements as those trusted elements in need of further evaluation by the FAA. Now, so what does that mean? That means that we all know that a UAS is defined as an unmanned aircraft and its associated elements. But the associated elements is like when we talk about including communication links and the components that control the unmanned aircraft that are required to operate the UAS safely and efficiently in the NAS, we're getting into those mechanics of the associated elements include such items as navigation, radar, collision avoidance, and GPS forecasting systems currently under development. And in layman's terms, associated elements are those multiple ground and air systems required to ensure the safe flight of autonomous aircraft.
And as we've chatted before, those have not yet been defined by the FAA, correct?
You are correct.
Awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to this panel. I know I'm really looking forward to learning a little bit more about what needs to be done to grow UAS in the NAS. Shawn, we'd like to really thank you as well for helping put this panel of big flyers together. And I do like to end our podcast with a little bit of a fun question when I can. So Shawn, as someone who's been an integral part of the UAS industry for years and no stranger to UAS in the state of North Dakota, what is your favorite part of the UAS ecosystem here in North Dakota?
It would have to be the fact that the state is completely on board with advancing this technology innovation, and it is 110% every day, and that's amazing. And that is also humbling as well to have that kind of leadership and tenacity. It is just unique.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that's a great way to put it. From top down, the leadership here in North Dakota is great, and I know other states as well, too. Don't want to be too biased about North Dakota just because I live here, but we definitely love our ecosystem for UAS here in North Dakota. Well, thanks again, Shawn, for joining us for our podcast today. It is always a pleasure to chat with you, and we look forward to seeing you in October for the UAS Summit.
You too, Dayna. Thank you so much for having me on board.
Absolutely. Well, and to our listeners, if you are interested in learning more about UAS Associated Elements and why they are so important, be sure to join us for the UAS Summit and Expo, October 4th through the 5th in Grand Forks, North Dakota. As a reminder, the early bird deadline to save on registration is September 14th, so be sure to register soon. Thanks for listening, and until next time.